I ask again, what is the worth of a single mortal life?
It is your blood I am destined to spill. Your death spit will stain these walls, little lamb.
How heroic. I was wondering if we'd survive encountering such a fearsome beast.
Guys, how do you stop playing this game?
My eyeballs stopped working and I can't read the text anymore. Everything is blurry, time to sleep.
That's when you should take a short rest.
This game is ruining my life. Yeah, a good game will do that to you. You ever played a game where its worst flaw is that you can't stop playing? It is so good that it ruins other games by comparison. A game that's so good with its player-first mentality that AAA game developers go to war with it on social media because they're afraid that fans might actually end up expecting that level of quality from them.
Well, yeah, like a year ago when Elden Ring came out.
I mean, okay, yes, but welcome to Baldur's Gate 3.
Take away their free will and they call you a tyrant. Allow them to indulge it and they become tyrants.
God.
Pathetic little boy who never unleashed anything.
I will unmake you! This ends here and now.
Baldur's Gate 3 is a story-rich, character-driven, turn-based...
Whoever made turn-based combat should be kicked into a fucking pit of spice and shot with a bazooka. Why would you put turn-based combat in any game? I particularly despise turn-based combat. It's just
turn-based RPG. Based on the base basis that all your base are belong to me. Based on that nerdy tabletop game from Stranger Things. Dungeons and Dragons.
what the fuck?
Baldur's Gate is, among other things, being praised for being released in a complete, playable state without microtransactions. Let's let that sink in for a bit. Baldur's Gate is kinda like the Fallout and Elder Scrolls series, you know, Skyrim, in that no one under the age of 80 has played the first two games in those series. But the third games, you know those third games, the third games in these series are the save the motherfucking bee's knees. And yes, this comparison is kind of ironic. We'll get to why later in the video. But let me tell you, calling this game good is a massive understatement. Baldur's Gate 3 is without a doubt one of the greatest RPGs ever made. Y'all can relax, I said one of. I have never seen so many well-made, memorable characters with this level of depth in a single video game ever before. The voice acting and animation is insane, which is something that the people that have played the game just can't stop bringing up. But that's because it's just that damn good. Like, wow. There's so many good characters that you get to watch grow and develop. But probably the best part about them is the amount of power that you have to change their stories. Or at least try to change them.
Out of my head! The Queen has spoken!
See this? This is Lae'zel. She is one of the most important and most developed characters in the game, whose own story ties very heavily into the main plot.
I smell your moisture.
And now, 5 minutes into the game, she has been permanently removed from the story. This is actually a common thing that people do. Did I mention that the gameplay was phenomenal too? Because it is. You know, it's almost like Baldur's Gate 3 was based on the sweet spot levels of one of the most successful tabletop RPG rule sets of all time. And yes, I know there are better TTRPGs. Yes, I have played plenty of 3.5, but Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, which is what Baldur's Gate 3 is based on, is the most popular and among the most accessible and among the most accessible role-playing systems of all time. So let's give it some credit, okay? And for those of you who did not understand what I was just talking about, don't worry about it. And try D&D when you get the chance. You can break Baldur's Gate in fun ways, yet combat never gets stale. Every single encounter, and especially the major fights, is different enough to remain fresh and exciting. I have played over 150 hours in a single-player turn-based RPG and have not gotten bored with the combat, which is absolutely insane. I didn't think that was possible. And yes, part of that is due to the encounter design. And yes, part of that is due to the massive arsenal of spells and abilities that you can choose from. But I think the single most important part is that the entire world that the game takes place in is your battleground. Where most turn-based RPGs cut to a different screen or arena when you go into a battle, Baldur's Gate 3 says, nope, we're fighting right here. This just adds to the insane amount of freedom you have to your approach to every encounter. The entire world, dialogue included, is at your disposal. And while this isn't something that's particularly groundbreaking or even that new, it all just works so well in BG3. And after talking to some fellow gamers, both online and in real life, we've come to the conclusion that you can find other games with better roleplay, better combat, better stories even. But what Baldur's Gate delivers is the whole package. Cinematics, story, characters, voice acting, size and scope, encounters and gameplay mechanics, player agency, modern graphics, even the comedy, and the fact that it's the best single-player Dungeons & Dragons experience that you will find. It all comes together just so perfectly to create one of the most immersive gaming experiences of this generation. It is better than we deserve. But you know who thinks we do deserve the best? That's right, it's today's sponsor, Larian Studios. The creators of Baldur's Gate 3 think that us gamers deserve everything. They put the player experience before everything else, unlike other studios these days.
God.
Gacha, battle passes, loot boxes, paid DLC that should be free, bugs, lack of innovation, unfinished releases, daily login bonuses to create addiction, gacha, pay to win, pay to advance quicker, soulless reboots and sequels, microtransactions in general. Oh, and did I mention gacha?
I just spent $400 for a fucking JPEG.
Sorry for the rant, but modern gaming sucks. And we fuel these practices by giving those companies money, which is why games like Baldur's Gate 3 and Elden Ring are so important. These companies both started small, and they honed their skills over time in pursuit of making the best game possible, not in pursuit of trying to take as much money from you as they can. Did you know that Microsoft actually tried to buy out Larian Studios, but the CEO promptly shut them down? Score one for the good guys. When these companies release games with such resounding success, people take notice. Conversations like this are started. Probably because these two companies openly speak out against things like microtransactions. Normal developers see these games and realize, oh shit, this is what people actually want. Let's aspire to this. And on the other hand, developers from shitty corporations see the success and say,
you know, I really wish that I could work on a game like that, but not at this company. Profit before everything, baby. Fuck.
You see, all this controversy spreads awareness. It gets people going. And this time around, even IGN called out modern gaming industry practices. And when you see people praising IGN for a good take, that's how you know it's a big deal. Successes like these allow us gamers to stand up and say, fuck you to shitty corporations for releasing the same game over and over and over. Fuck you for ruining our beloved franchises by selling out with a half-assed live service. Fuck you for selling us unfinished products. And fuck you for putting microtransactions into every fucking game these days. Believe it or not, consumers do run this market, and we have the right to not want to be treated like sentient wallets and ATMs. And no, I'm not so delusional as to think that Baldur's Gate 3 will single-handedly somehow save this scum-ridden industry. What I do think, though, is how every massive success like this helps to push things in the right direction, and they give us beacons of hope to look up to. And they eat all of our free time. Just a quick heads up for everybody. First, thank you for watching this video all the way through. I poured my heart and soul into this, and I hope it does well. But also, I did finally get my Patreon up because I would like to make a living doing this. And so far, sponsorship deals have not really worked out. For reasons? You know, maybe I don't take $1,000 to promote a gacha game in a video where I rant about how much I hate gacha games. You know, maybe don't do that. I do not want to promote garbage if I can help it. But I do also need to remain alive to make more videos. Links in the description. I have one tier for $1 right now because I would like to come up with something, more worthwhile that makes it worth putting more money into higher tiers, if that makes sense. But for now, I'll put your name at the end of my videos. And that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting me. And I'll see you all in the next